Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of Dalton Select Board to meeting, please. All those able, please note this meeting is being recorded by Zoom for the purpose of taking minutes in DCTV. Can we have it quiet, please? All those able, please stand up for the pledge. Mr. Boyle, would you lead us in?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bring it to the roll call, please.
Chair Robert Bishop.
Here.
John Boyle.
Here.
Dan Esco.
Here.
Tony Pagliarulo on Zoom.
Here.
Town Manager.
Here.
Okay, this is how we're gonna do this tonight. This is a deliberation for the select board only, there'll be no public comments. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take each candidate one by one, and I would like to hear from each member is what they have a positive thing to say about it. And after we get through with all three candidates, if someone would make a motion, then we'll run the motion. So we'll start in order of how we interview them. And I would like to go in this order. Dan, John, Tony, and then myself. Okay? Dan, you're up first with Eric.
Okay. Well, first I'd like to say all the candidates impressed me with their background, their experience, and their interviews, with some notable standouts for Eric, as the case may be. I found he had a good background in grant writing. That would be a huge plus to the town. I found that a positive. I also appreciated his answer regarding how he'd evaluate the current structure, effectiveness, and efficiency of the various town departments, with kind of a 3-month evaluation plan, and then in particular using comparative metrics to benchmark to similar towns, and to observe and have ongoing dialogue with department heads as potential changes are considered. So finally, I found his answer to greatest asset or strength cannot be outworked. So a hard worker is welcome, and I thought that was demonstrated in his answers and his professional background and resume. So that's my 2 cents for Eric.
Okay, John?
Me? Yeah. Well, to start with, I have to concur with my colleague Dan Esco completely at every point he made out. So I'm not going to repeat them. But there was one question, answer that came up regarding what's Dalton's probably big issue right now, and that's the dust from Patrica's sand and gravel pit. And he answered by saying, we have a problem in our town, in Andover, Connecticut, with an abandoned gravel bed, and the town, or the company just took off and abandoned it. And we have collected on the bond, which is important, because with the Patrica case right now, we find out there's a minimal bond that's being posted, and the Clean Air Committee, which I'm a member, is trying to get a condition that it'd be a much more expensive bond. However, he mentioned that particular case, and at this point, they're trying to collect on the bond, as I said, and they're also in the midst of litigation against the company, which is an area company, and they're trying to get them to either pay or come back and remediate the open spaces they left, acres of open space, of dirt or gravel or etc. Now, that was a example of how well this man has researched what Dalton's biggest problem is and how to address it. And it was an extremely good answer. It really picked up on my ears because we've been dealing with this issue since last March, or February actually, maybe even January, I don't know, I lose track of time. But yeah, many, many other good qualities, as Dan mentioned, budgeting, grant writing, administrating the town departments. He seems to be a great team player, and he showed an ability to actually, when there's some kind of a mini crisis, pitch in and get his hands dirty. So I think he's a great fit for the town of Dalton. The other two candidates were very, very good, and we applaud the selection committee, the review committee, for bringing them forward to us. Thank you. John, will you? Thank you. And I don't know if any other members are here. All right. Hey, let me do- And yeah. Debbie, and John Bartels was on the, right? No, John Kelly. Sorry. And he's not around, he's out of the country, right? Okay. Thank you so much for your hard work, and you really accelerated the process when you got your hands on it, and we appreciate that. We were thinking that this process might take till the end of the year, but here we are tonight, and it is gonna be great. So, I've had maybe 5, 6 emails today, and I talked to maybe 10 people in town, different people. I see different people all over the place, on the street, town hall, in the restaurant, and every one of them concurred that Mr. Anderson is by far, hands down, the best choice. So that's a real vote of confidence in the decision I hope we make tonight, and vote to accept Mr. Anderson's application for the town manager slot. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony?
Hey, Bob, thank you. Good evening, everyone. And I want to preface my remarks by saying also thanks to our consultancy group and our selection committee, or the committee that looked to have all these people come on board. Thank you. Did a lot of heavy lifting. I'm going to concur with my colleagues that Eric was very impressive. In reading his resume, he's taken a different course in terms of more experience versus education. He was very forthright in that regard. I liked his answers. I thought he was direct. I think he'd be a great fit for our community in terms of being a hands-on individual, working with people, talking with people regularly, and delving into it. A real plus for me was his grant writing. In a community with a budget of $3.5 million, he's total grants of some $15 million. And that tells me that he's going to continue that should he elect to accept the position. Some of the words I use: energetic, pragmatic. He's certainly willing to deal with challenges before him. Very strong communicator. I feel very strongly about Eric. And again, I think all 3 individuals can fulfill the role, but I feel extremely good about Mr. Anderson in terms of filling our needs, which is a top priority for our community.
You all set, Tony?
Yes, thanks, Bob.
Okay. What's left for me to say? I concur with my colleagues. I'd like to thank everybody that sent in their thoughts. It's greatly appreciated. I, too, had a lot of phone calls today. People were stopping and talking to me. Everybody's saying pretty much the same thing. What I really like about Eric was, the first thing he said is, this job's not a 40-hour job. And that says something right there. And he understands the science behind the sand and gravel. He understands the problems with the cylinder, how important it is, how dangerous it can be. And the other thing that stood out, he doesn't make quick decisions, so he doesn't snap off. He's an analytic thinker, and I think he'll fit very well in with the way town of Dalton's growing. I can't say enough good about him. I mean, the grant writing, everything else that my fellow colleagues said, so. We will move on to John Hellwall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move.
We got to go through the other ones first, John.
Oh,
We need to say something, unless everybody concurs.
well, I think it's pretty unanimously. I mean, the other candidates were excellent.
Yeah,
They were brought forth by the review committee, and I, with the greatest deal of respect, they were definitely, it was not a close call, but a good call on our part to select Mr. Anderson. I don't think anything else needs to be said. I don't know if you feel that way or.
I'd just like to speak about the other two candidates
Yeah.
because I believe they were forthright also in terms of coming before us and answering our questions. In terms of John, I think of all of them, he may have the steepest learning curve. I know he's put in time. I think our community would be a step up for him in terms of a challenge of sorts. I think he could fulfill that challenge. So I want to give him credit for that. Should I speak about Lisa also, Bob, or should I wait, or?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Lisa, again, Berkshire County, a lot of credentials in terms of MMA. I was impressed with that. Her learning curve, if I can use that term again, would be the least of all the candidates. I think she's very knowledgeable, and I think she could get the job done, given her experience. She understands small towns, she understands Western Massachusetts, she understands Massachusetts politics, and she has a lot of personal connections. So those are all positives in terms of Lisa being appointed to the position also. And so that would be about it for me.
Okay, thank you. Dan?
Yes, I found Jonathan Elwell to be very well-spoken, with a wide range of management experience. In particular, I was impressed with his collective bargaining experience with union negotiations, having negotiated 6 fall union, 3 partial union contracts in his tenure in previous position in Ennisbury. I thought that would be a strong positive for Jonathan. And for Lisa, I was particularly impressed with her financial acumen, in her background in finance and accounting, as well as the fact that she is a procurement officer with a certified PPO license. I thought that was a very big positive. You know, her budgeting, obviously, tiny financial background was also on strong display. And then finally, being a Berkshire native of 40 years, knowing the community, being a part of the community, understanding the unique challenges that our small towns face as we move into the rest of this century, and with the shrinking tax base. And I thought she had some good ideas on how we can leverage grant funding to help with that. I thought she's a very strong candidate, so
There's very little I can add to that. I mean, my two colleagues have both summed up all 3 candidates in a very apt manner, and I concur completely.
Okay. Yeah, what I liked about Jonathan, his way he met with his department heads, the way he wanted to evaluate people, that was a big plus. He did not have too much municipal experience. And I think he was acting a little nervous last night, so. And Lisa, she is an extremely strong candidate. Like Dan said, she's a licensed CPO and for procurement purchaser. And she has a lot of connections with them, with our MMA. The one thing I was concerned about was her willingness to stay on the council of North Adams and also be part of Dalton. That was concerning. I wasn't sure how she was going to balance all that, and plus stay on one of the committees up there. So, well, with that, Mr. Boyle.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize Municipal Resources Incorporated to make a conditional offer of employment to Eric Anderson of Andover, Connecticut, for the position of Town Manager in Dalton, Massachusetts, This offer is conditioned upon the satisfactory background review investigation conducted by Municipal Resources, physical exam if required, and the successful negotiation of the terms of appointment by the Select Board.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, how this is gonna work from here on in? Tony voted, yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I did.
Boris is gonna contact the three candidates. He will contact Eric, John, and Lisa. Tomorrow morning, I will contact Eric. I'm gonna ask John and Dan to immediately start negotiations with Eric. If that's okay with you two.
Sure. Hey,
Okay. So, with that,
Jim, just a quick, do we, maybe this is more up to Terry than anybody, do we have any kind of a time frame for offering him a starting date of employment at the town hall?
I think you have to find out what, provisions he needs to make as far as his current employer in terms of giving notice and then, of course, as soon as he's able to join the town, I'm planning on, being available for, 5 to 10 days as needed, and I'll know when I'm not needed anymore.
All right, Bob tells me he's gonna call Mr. Anderson tomorrow and ask, among other things, but ask him when he'll be available for
Yeah.
employment here and potentially, setting up some kind of training session with our good interim town manager, Terry.
I'm gonna ask Buzz to weigh in on this. Buzz, do you have anything to ask? Or something to say?
Yes, Bob, you summarized the procedure going forward very well. I'll be in touch with the candidates this evening, and I will let Eric know that who's the negotiating committee? Is it John and Dan?
Yes.
All right, yeah, then he'll be hearing from them, and then actually, tomorrow he'll be hearing from John Bishop, so, he should be prepared to talk about the issue of a transition and how much notice he'll need to give his Board of Selectmen in Andover, Connecticut. I'm not sure what his contract requires. Could be 2 weeks, could be a month. It depends. Oftentimes in situations like this, there's, a transition that can take place that he can negotiate with his board there. So, really it depends on his particular situation. But, in cases like this, they have, town administrator's gonna have things to wrap up in order for him to move to a new position. So those are things he will be considering, and he'll be talking to his board about, and he'll be, talking to Bob about what transitions he can make into Dalton. So, it'll take a week or so for all that kind of stuff to fall out. But in terms of moving ahead, yes, it's about, you folks have done a good job. You have a good candidate and that we'll do the background check for. The background check, depending on the individual, sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's 2.5 weeks, sometimes it's 3 weeks. They have to submit information to us, and then we'll process that, write a report, and then we'll get it to Bob and the committee. And the report, I should point out, is confidential. It's for your eyes only. It's not a public document because there'll be information in it, financial, personal information that is not subject of the open meeting law and that sort of thing. But it will be provided to you for your information about this individual and his references and his credit checks, the kinds of things that, an employer in a municipal setting will need to know. and ought to know about municipal executive and chief administrative officer for Dalton.
Buzz, can you get into our hands, Dan and I, his contact information, phone number, and email?
We got that.
We got that already? Okay.
Yeah, it should be on his, yeah.
His email address, his email
His
address?
resume's got all that.
Donna says,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Certainly, and then I'll be, but I will let him know that folks will be in touch with him, so be prepared to receive the emails, the phone calls, the text, however you're gonna initiate communication with him.
okay.
Sure.
No. In closing, I really would like to thank everybody that weighed in. It was kind of neat that we seemed to be all on the same page. It was like, I was kind of like stunned. It was, not that it was unusual, but it was kind of neat that we all pretty much saw the same thing. I would also like to thank Buzz and Bob for all their work, and the search committee, John and Lori's committee. You guys did a fantastic job. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
We had three,
Because they put in a lot of time.
yes, we had three candidates that were really well qualified, and thank you. And with that, let's see.
But one more thing.
Okay, Buzz.
Lori, the office, she deserves a lot of credit. She coordinated a lot of meetings and did a lot of behind the
Yes.
scenes work.
Yeah.
Still have Terry's airplane tickets locked up.
Yeah.
Okay, the next meeting of the regular select board meeting is scheduled to take place on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at Dalton Senior Center with an option for remote participation. With that, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hey.
Tony, get some sleep.